Ian versus Daddybones. We're catching up on some old news and talking about the snake lair disaster. Welcome back! It's another exciting episode of Ian vs. Daddybones. I am Ian Daddybones. I'd like to welcome everybody to the show. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube right now, hey everybody, what's going on? Thank you for checking out the show. Make sure you smash that subscribe button on YouTube. As always, I got a special high five and a nuff dap to all my Patreon subscribers and my Facebook subscribers, going above and beyond, supporting the brand for $2 to $3 a month, respectively, getting access to the Original Geeks podcast and bonus content. And I want to say, I hope everybody really enjoyed last week's episode, because for the past week and a half, last week's episode, the subject became a game changer for Ian versus Daddybones in the past week and a half. And because I have been able to upgrade my Oculus Quest 2 / Meta Quest 2 to the the Meta Quest 3 VR headset, I talked about that last week on the show. And since I got that headset set up, since I did last week's episode, if you follow me on Facebook, if we're friends on Facebook, if you like my Ian versus Daddybones page on Facebook, you have been aware of the VR content drops that have pretty much been daily for the past week and a half since I got this damn thing. I've been able to rediscover everything that I've had on my Oculus Quest 2 that I'm able to re-access on my Meta Quest 3, in addition to all this new software and titles that they gave me with the Meta Quest Plus subscription for the next 2 years, and checking out the store, seeing what's coming soon. There's like a official entry in the Batman Arkham series, Batman Arkham Shadow, that's coming out. I'm not the biggest fan of the Alien franchise, but I know people are getting excited for Alien Romulus coming out. But there's this Alien game that's coming out on the Meta Quest 3 that I saw a trailer for, where you're literally in the spaceship, you're in space, you're, first-person shooter, you're inspecting this spaceship in VR, and there's fucking aliens. So if you like aliens, this game is going to be right up your alley. And I got some friends that I've been talking to that I've been keeping in the loop, because they are kind of on the fence, more leaning towards getting a Meta Quest 3, but I've been giving them everything they need to know as far as, okay, here's what you need to do if you want to jump into this shit with me, because I've been having a blast with it, and I think everybody who's interested in getting a Meta Quest 3 is going to be loving it too. But it's one of those type of things where it's kind of hard to describe VR to people, especially with me publishing videos of me enjoying my Meta Quest 3 and showing y'all what I'm able to do on it. There's only so much you can get out of the videos without having that fucking thing on your face itself. And, like Alien, this is something you definitely want to have hugging your face. Like, this Meta Quest 3 is absolutely sick. So the VR content is pretty much going to be like an every night thing. When I put this headset on and I decide to fuck around with something, I'm going to be recording that shit. And I'm going to be making it available to y'all. But right now, I'm making it available to y'all, but I'm also trying to think about what games I may want to stream exclusively for the Patreon, well, actually the Facebook subscribers, because right now I'm finding out, for some reason, only certain videos that I'm uploading through the Meta Quest 3, I'm able to re-download through my laptop, so I'm able to make those available on YouTube and the Patreon. but I think some of the videos that have like third-party sounds, you know, soundtracks and shit like Pistol Whip, I don't think I'm going to be able to download the Pistol Whip videos. And, you know, I was able to do Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted VR. That wasn't a problem. I put that up for the Patreon subscribers. I put that up for the YouTube channel, so you can watch me play the Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. But I'm trying to make this an all-around experience with the VR content for everybody who follows me, regardless if it's Facebook, YouTube, or the Patreon, you know what I mean? I want to make that shit available. And at first, some of it had to do with default privacy settings through the headset, where it was only for friends only. But then I have to go back in and change that shit to everyone. So I'm still going through getting my settings within the MetaQuest instead of just dealing with the default factory settings. So I'm still figuring that shit out, but in the past week, I've had a lot of fucking content that I've been dropping, playing Resident Evil 4, Five Nights at Freddy's, started fucking around with Green Hell, I've been showing off some Pistol Whip and some rounds of me playing Swarm, so definitely check that shit out. I really appreciate it, because honestly, right now, when it comes to leveling up Ian versus Daddybones, on the Facebook end of things, I am only one more goal away from unlocking ads on my videos, and that's pretty much my focus right now. So I pretty much need all eyes on the prize. I need to watch my content and share my content if you don't mind. If you could take the 2 seconds and smash that share button and increase my reach without showing my peach. If it's not your cup of coffee, simply give your cup to somebody else and see what they think. I'm trying to get constant views on my content so I can knock off that level and unlock the ads, because the most recent thing that I just reached was finally I hit 5,000 followers on Facebook. So thank y'all very much to everybody who's following me on Facebook. You helped me hit that 5K level, and I've been very thankful and appreciative for all of it, because it's really been a lot of hard work over like the past 3 months, because like I've been grinding this shit and putting out the content. And speaking of content, I just grabbed another box of Garbage Pail Kids, so I'm gonna be trying to complete the set. So I got 10 more packs that I'm gonna be opening up, and to be honest with you, I would be doing Garbage Pail Kids right now, but for some reason my Google Pixel camera phone went fucking disappearing in my house. I know goddamn well my 4-year-old took it, because she likes using my backup phone to come watch, like, you know, Inspector Labrador and like Gabby's Dollhouse through Netflix and shit. So I know damn well Sadie took my phone and she's got it somewhere in the damn house. So as soon as I find my Google Pixel, I'll be able to film some Garbage Pail Kids, because my regular day-to-day phone is fucking ass. I need to update that shit, and it's not really, I constantly have to like get rid of shit and make sure I have enough space and storage, and even with a memory card, you know what I mean? So this phone's not in any position to like really film anything anymore. But today on the show, I'm going to talk about something I haven't had a chance to discuss, and that is the current disaster debacle that is the Masters of the Universe Origins Snake Lair Crowdfund. Now, to catch everybody up, this past winter, before spring, like basically it was like February going into March, but it was right around the time when Eternia backers were waiting for Eternia to begin shipping. So people like me who participated in the last crowdfund for Eternia, after we paid our money for Eternia during the 30 days they had to raise the funds, it was successful. Then we had to be patient for a year to a year and a half of our lives, waiting for the Eternia playset to be produced, manufactured, boxed, and shipped out to all the backers. So, right while we're waiting for Eternia to start arriving at our houses, Mattel makes the announcement that there's going to be another crowdfund. And they gave us like 5 choices. They showed us concept art for like 5 different things that we could vote on. And like one of them was like the Horde Fright Zone. One of them was like the Horde Doom Tower. One of them was like some, oh god, what the hell was it? A battle ram like transport, and another one was like the snake layer. And basically, the snake layer won the voting. It was Eternia's Choice fan vote for the next crowdfund. Everybody picked the snake layer because they showed us this concept art, and I'm going to put it on the screen right now. So for me at home editing, hey, stupid, I'm waving at you. Throw up the fucking picture. Okay, now that the picture's on the screen, this is what the concept art looked like that they had us vote on, okay? They had us vote on this concept art because this image of this snake layer over the past like 2 years has been slowly teased in like for example, right here today on the show, I'm going to be opening up this Masters of the Universe Origins Reptilax figure, and this is a perfect example. Right on the back of Reptilax's packaging, okay? He's got this beautiful artwork and done by Roy Juarez and his homies over at Mattel, working on the beautiful design packaging. Reptilax was a character that appeared in a comic back in the day that I believe came with the Eternia playset, or he appeared in one of the snake. He appeared in the background of one of the panels of one of the mini comics in the 80s as just some random snake goon, and he got turned into a real fucking character based on his background character mini comic design. So the back of this artwork shows Reptilax fighting a random guard, and this artwork is basically based on the background panel of how he first appeared, holding this axe and this snake shield. So this is a more detailed of that original artwork, but in the background behind Reptilax is this snake layer concept art, this snake layer appearing in the official background art on the official packaging. So it's like, this is what they presented us, but the way it feels over the past like 6 to 7 months is it feels like Mattel always had the snake layer in mind to be made. They were testing the waters to see how the fans think about it, what they think about it. But the problem is, right, we voted on this concept art, and this was like February, March, because basically Eternia was supposed to, I expected Eternia to show up after the wait was over. I expected Eternia to show up right before WrestleMania. But it wound up showing up a couple of weeks earlier to like a month. I think like it was like the end of February going into March that Eternia started rolling out. But either way, this is the same time they had us voting. So it was like by the end of March, they already said that the fucking snake layer was gonna win. So then we had April, May, June to July, and then at San Diego Comic-Con, Mattel finally revealed what the snake layer crowdfund was going to look like. And it was a fucking disaster. And the reason it was a disaster is because what they showed was a snake layer playset, but it looked completely fucking different than this concept art that I had up on the screen. What they gave us instead was this. Hi, stupid, put the other picture up. This, okay? Now, on one hand, this looks absolutely sick. There's nothing wrong to me overall with the way they designed this snake layer. But there are some gripes. For example, it looks nothing like the image that people voted on, which is people's main complaint about this. Nothing about this resembles the concept art that we were shown. We were shown a clamshell style design that opened and folded like Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull, which based on their current retail value, they were going for like $80 to $85 in the stores. So we were expecting a clamshell open and shut foldable design that would have a retail price of like $85, right? Throw in like 3 exclusive figures and a vehicle, And now you have a crowdfund that could be $250. Because the way I look at Mattel crowdfunds, based on my experience with participating in one that was successful, and seeing two crowdfunds that should have been successful fail miserably, and I'm looking at the two prices of the failed crowdfunds. Because number one, I set a $250 price for this snake layer playset with 3 figures in a vehicle. And, you know, off the top of my head, for like the 3 characters I would include with the crowdfund, I would probably include one of the Snake Men that hasn't come out yet. But I would also use the Snake Layer crowdfund as an opportunity to finally release Hero and Eldor from the Powers of Grayskull line that never came out. You know what I mean? We never got Hero. We never got Eldor. You got a second crowdfund opportunity to be successful. Give me a fucking reason to want to give you my money again. Right? There's no reason why. Like, and like, let's just say a vehicle, Bashosaurus. You know what I mean? The orange and red fucking vehicle that has the fucking, you know, battering ram arm with the rock on the fucking stick, and it smashes like Beastman and Trapjaw and shit, and He-Man rides it. Give us a Bashosaurus, Hero, Eldor, and another figure with the Snake Layer crowdfund. That right there could have been $250. I say $250 because Jurassic Park tried doing a 30th anniversary Gates of Jurassic Park crowdfund, which was $250 for the Gates of Jurassic Park that opened up. It made sounds. It lights up, right? So you got the gates, but it had unlockable tiers, and it also came with like that fucking Ford Explorer, fucking with the Jurassic Park paint job. So it came with that, and at some point, like, it came with like the electrified fence for Jurassic Park. It came with the 2 fucking kids. It came with a Tyrannosaurus if you like reached like the top level and shit. So like, it gave you this epic fucking Jurassic Park set that they were only asking $250 for, and it failed. Like, that one was a disaster. I was really surprised that nobody gave a shit about the Gates of Jurassic Park, because I even told Amber I was considering doing that, and I would know within like the first week, based on how it does, if this is going to be successful or not. So I wanted to participate in the Gates of Jurassic Park, but it got a thumbs down. It wasn't successful, but that was $250. You take it to another amount, $400. That's how much WWE wanted for the WCW Monday Nitro entrance set. Like the big metal rigging, scaffolding of whatever the fuck on Monday Nitro, and the NWO and Sting and fucking the Steiner Brothers and Harlem Heat and Chris Jericho would come out with the WCW fucking steel letters and shit in the entrance ramp. Like, they offered that and like 5 exclusive figures that you could unlock based on how successful it was going to be. So at the end of the day, for $400, you'd get 5 exclusive Elite figures, which in itself would be like $150 box that they would sell on Mattel Creations if it was like boxed like the LWO or something. But the entrance set, you know, was probably like a $250 jump off, but with the 5 figures, they wanted $400 for that motherfucker, and it failed miserably. My honest opinion why the Monday Nitro entrance set failed was because you offered to crowdfund the entrance set before you even had the ring available. The ring wasn't available until this year. I was able to get the Monday Nitro ring this past spring, and I believe it arrived at my house by the end of May. So I don't understand. That would be like Mattel trying to do Eternia before putting out Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain. Alright, we are back on the show. I'm going to go ahead, get started on this Reptilax. But I do want to say for everybody, I will have another episode of the Original Geeks podcast going down. My wife and I celebrated our 19th wedding anniversary. So Amber and I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine. And we also went out to dinner last night to Outback. My pops got me a Outback gift card for my birthday, and I've been meaning and wanting to take my wife out to dinner. It's just our work schedules have been crazy, and having to take care of some bills to find an opening in the budget, so we can go to Outback so we can take our real money and put it with our gift card money to have a wonderful meal together, and that's what we did last night. But yeah, back to Reptilax. I'm trying to get him out of his packaging. Now, like I said, Reptilax is one of those additional background Snake Man characters that never came out in the 80s, but he lives on today thanks to Origins. Get him out of his packaging. But no, like I was saying, man, they had the failed Jurassic Park crowdfund. They had the failed WWE crowdfund. $250 price point, $400 price point. Then you look at Eternia, that motherfucker cost me $550. Okay? That's not including the $50 shipping. That's not including fucking taxes. That's not including financing the fucking thing over the course of a year to make it possible in the first place for me to even acquire it. But it was a $550 crowdfund. So my honest opinion is, if Mattel thinks, well, I gotta rewind a little bit because I gotta go back to like the Eternia picture, right? Like what people were expecting was this clamshell open design. What they gave us instead was this redesigned. They gave us this redesigned Snake Lair playset that instead of a clamshell design basically had like a center front design with this snake face on the front of it, which was on like if you opened it up like a book, like basically the snake face would have been on the front cover and the other side of the playset would have been the back cover of the book. Okay, so instead, we got the snake face centered on this fucking thing, and now we have these two side walls instead of like one side wall. So basically, it's a double hinge clamshell that will fold over and into itself, kind of like a fucking wallet, but that's not what we voted on. And it's not, and now, I mean, the one thing is that's funny about all this is, the fan base is kind of divided because some people absolutely find it hideous and are disgusted with it. And then you have some people that, hey, give it a chance. It kind of looks cool. And on one hand, they're not wrong. It does look fucking cool, finally seeing it. The problem is, the front of my Eternia box says adult collector. Looking at this picture, there's nothing really adult collector looking about it. A lot of people have compared this to the Imaginext line from like the early 2000s to like 2010. I don't know exactly, remember. Julia wasn't into that shit. So I don't really know much about Imaginext other than the fact that it existed. So anytime I see something online about a playset that like basically there was like this Imaginext Egyptian playset that had like this Egyptian Snake Man warrior, but the Egyptian Snake Man warrior was wearing green armor and had like a yellow snake head, so he looked like fucking King Hiss. So, and on top of that, there were like other vehicles that like reused the Masters of the Universe Roton and it was like blue and white, like ice colors or some shit. So like Masters of the Universe vehicles and like toy designs have definitely appeared in other Mattel brands and playsets over the years. But the thing is, a lot of people say that this Snake Lair playset does very much look like an Imagine X playset. And they're not wrong by any means, because it absolutely does, especially with the bright colors and whatnot. So I can see where a lot of people are disappointed in it, but I can also see where a lot of people are like, have some faith, because a lot of the features that they're showing off do look pretty fucking sweet. Because hold on a second, I'm trying to stand up Reptilex here and put his fucking axe and his sword in his hand. It's a pretty badass character. He's got his snake tail, so he's able to stand up without any help. That's pretty badass. He's got his snake shield, but unfortunately with the way it's gripping on him, it's not really holding the best. But oh, you can spin it. Sweet. I wasn't sure if it was like permanently stuck in the position it was at, but it doesn't really clip around his wrist too well. It's very loose, but for the most part it still looks pretty badass. I don't know, you could pose him to where it looks like his shield's up so it's not falling, but yeah, he's pretty dope. Fucking, he never came out in the 80s and shit, but he'd be able to hang out in the Snake Lair if it gets crowdfunded. But that's the thing, like, when Mattel revealed this Snake Lair at San Diego Comic-Con, like, between people's live reactions and social media's reaction, the response was pretty much universal. Nobody likes this. Red flags. This does not look like it's even gonna stand a chance being remotely successful. So it took a couple of days, and Mattel realized what's going on. Mattel did a poll where you were able to, like a survey, you were able to answer some questions about the Snake Lair playset, and you were even able to offer your own 2 cents on pretty much what would it take for you to be interested in this. What would you like to see in this crowdfund? So personally, I got to express my 2 cents, and I broke the shit down, and I'm not going to get fully into it right now, but it's like, I basically was like, look, what I voted on had me feeling that the final crowdfund was going to be like $250. What you redesigned and presented us looks like it's going to be another $550 beast. I feel that is a little greedy on your guys' end, expecting us to pony up another $550 for something that should probably be half the price. And based on what's shown, there's nothing really interesting as far as add-ons or unlockable perks that would make me want to participate in this at that price. So I even laid out to Mattel, if you guys threw in Eldor and Hero, I would be all over this shit. You include the Bashosaurus, I would gladly pay you guys $250 for this. You include $50 for shipping, I'll call it $300. Because even one of their questions was, if we decided to do this Snake Lair, and if we said right now we're going to do it for $300, would you be interested? Even then, some people were like, no, because at the end of the day, this is not what we voted on. Because if this is what you're presenting us as the next crowdfund, and it doesn't even look like the concept art, then it kind of feels like a kick in the dick, because for everybody that voted on the Fright Zone are angry that we should be getting the Fright Zone right now. And they're not wrong, because at least the Fright Zone actually got made in the 80s. Like, that's my biggest problem with this right now, is it seems like they really pushed to want us to want this Snake Lair crowd playset. They decided to do it as a crowdfund, made it an option to vote for. It won based on the image we voted on. They showed us something completely different. It pissed off everybody that was looking forward to it. And jumping ahead, Mattel already saw the writing on the wall. And the day Mattel was going to do like the reveal, all the information, and the day the crowdfund was actually supposed to start, it didn't. They basically, Mattel didn't show up to their own party, and they no-called, no-showed, and nothing was revealed about the crowdfund, except Mattel made an announcement later, not the same day, but like a couple days later to a week, making an announcement that for the time being, they are pausing the Snake Lair crowdfund, and they're pretty much going back to the drawing board to refigure it out. And when they come back, hopefully they have something that makes us all excited for the Snake Lair. So it pretty much looks like Mattel's scrapping what they showed us at San Diego Comic-Con, and they're going to go back to the drawing board, redesign the Snake Lair. Hopefully it looks the way it's supposed to, like it does on the back of this Reptilax packaging, and like it has in other packaging, like even with like Lady Slither. She lives here. Why are you giving us a different version of Lady Slither's house? And speaking of Lady Slither, like that was the only thing they had to offer and show us as far as something exclusive that only comes with a crowdfund. They gave us a variant of Lady Slither that's like gray and like white mixed plastic to give her the impression of she's undead, and it's like her bones. So it's like a skeletal undead version of Lady Slither that the internet has already dubbed Lady Boner, just like they dubbed the moat monster Modi. So Lady Boner was being offered with the Snake Lair. And there was also a vehicle, well, on the right side of the playset when you're looking at it, there was like this curved fucking snake thing that was like stuck on the side of it. It kind of looked like a little telephone, like you could just pick up this friggin' snake if it started ringing and like, hello, and then put it back when you're done. But apparently that snake is a detachable vehicle that's called the Rattle Trap. That's apparently, once you set it up, it's like some like serpentine S, you know what I mean? Like snack, you know what I mean? So you got the Rattle Trap, and you could put like somebody in a seat, like Cobra Con or whatnot, or even Reptilax. Put Reptilax in the fucking seat, and now he's in like this like snake vehicle that apparently was supposed to come out in the 80s, but never did, or it was something that was, you know, the concept art was worked on, but nothing was ever produced. But some people have uncovered some images of a vintage Rattle Trap. So, you know, it is kind of cool seeing this throwback from the past being incorporated into something new for today. So it's one of those things where Mattel officially pulled the plug on the Snake Lair crowdfund. It's not going down based on its current design that got thumbs down all around. And, you know, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, part of me is like, thank God, because part of this Snake Lair crowdfund becoming such a disaster is what made me have no problem deciding to upgrade to the Meta Quest 3. Because honestly, for a $250 crowdfund, to finance that over the course of a year, I already did the calculator math based on the Eternia math. So it was only going to cost me like $25, $28 to finance the Snake Lair in the first place if I was to jump on it. So because I didn't have a Snake Lair to jump on, because even in the reality was, I probably wasn't going to do this. And that's where I'm kind of like, not, and the one thing too is, I'm going to take another break in a moment. I know I'm trying to go for the shorter shows, but I still got some shit to talk about with this. But like, real quick, like that's the thing with like the way a lot of people are feeling about this Snake Lair playset. Some people are even throwing in the towel on collecting their Motu. Like I've seen plenty of people in groups basically, use this snake layer crowdfund as a way to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm out. I don't got the money for something like that. I barely have the space for Eternia. Where the fuck am I going to put that? Mattel's just getting greedy at this point. And I kind of understand it because honestly, too, I think I tried saying it earlier, but it'll be a great way to end this section of the show. But, you know, over the past 2 years, it's been like nothing but like new Snake Men. You know what I mean? I'm kind of sick of the Snake Men. Like, no offense to Axel Jimenez, because he's provided a bunch of brand new Snake Men characters that have been added to Masters of the Universe, including all 4 who are on the back of this Reptilax mini comic, and that includes Lord Grasp and Terror, who I officially have pre-ordered with Big Bad Toy Store. They finally went up for pre-order. These were the 2 Walmart exclusives that they fucked up back in the spring, that even me and my buddy Jim were like trying to work together to find these fuckers at Walmart, even to the point to where the guy at Walmart with his little employee fucking tablet store computer was like, yeah, it's showing here on my end that they're gonna be in the next shipment that arrives on Memorial Day. So if you show up here at Memorial Day at 7 o'clock in the morning, you should be able to get the figures, no problem. I had to work. Jim went there on our behalf. And the people were acting like douchebags at Walmart, and they wouldn't even take 5 minutes to go in the back and grab the 2 figures that he showed up to grab. And apparently, rumor has it, they never even had the figures at all. Because from what I'm hearing, a lot of people's Lord Grasp and Terror pre-orders have been extremely fucked up. But like I said, Lord Grasp and Terror, got them pre-ordered. Reptilax is right here on the table. There's one more figure, Viper, who also was supposed to be a Walmart exclusive and got fucked up, or maybe he was going to be an Amazon exclusive and got fucked up. Either way, Big Bad Toy Store was able to get Viper in stock available for pre-orders. So I have 3 more Snake Men on deck to arrive in the future to complete this extra wave that I wasn't even planning on this year for Masters of the Universe Origins. With everything between Cartoon Collection and Origins, I don't know if you call this Wave 16 or Wave 17 or if this is Wave 18 with everything from Cartoon Collection, but we'll be right back. We're back here on Ian versus Daddybones. Gonna wrap up this episode of the show, but yeah, man, like I said, you know, for the past 6 months, I've been looking forward to news on this Snake Layer crowdfund. Was very much looking forward to participating in it, and you know, at the time being, it looks like it's not gonna happen. And at least in my opinion, considering we're halfway through August, we're about to roll into September soon. I really don't see Mattel moving on this Snake Layer at all this year. I think this is going to be something that they're going to wait until 2025. And, you know, like I said, you know, my biggest thing, like, recently is, like, it does seem like there's too much focus on the Snake Men, because, like, the Snake Men were, like, when it started, you had He-Man and Skeletor. So you had the Masters of the Universe, Skeletor and the Evil Warriors, right? Then Hordak showed up with the Evil Hordes. So now you had a second villain group that not only didn't get along with the heroes, but also didn't get along with the other bad guys because of a storied past. And, you know, Hordak was weird because he showed up as like the brand new villain in the toy line, but he was basically used as a vessel to introduce She-Ra. So, like, he was basically the villain to tie in the two series together, so basically he can fuck off at the end of it and set up shop and be She-Ra's villain. So you had that element of everything, Skeletor, Hordak, He-Man, you had She-Ra, and then the Snake Men came out for Masters of the Universe. But back then it was just King Hiss, Tongue Lasher, and Ratlord, and you had Cobra Khan, who was a question mark because he came out as one of Skeletor's evil warriors, but now there's a group of bad Snake Men coming out, so it's like, where the fuck does Cobra Khan fit into all of this? But then that became its own part of the story. But, you know, like, these new Snake Men characters didn't start showing up until Masters of the Universe Classics, like Fangor and even Terror and Lord Grasp showed up in Masters of the Universe Classics, which is why they're being made for Origins, because they got added to the canon like 10 years ago with Classics, and fucking now they get to be remade in Origins. So yes, it does make perfect sense to have these figures made in Origins because they did exist in the past, with the exception of Vipor and with the exception of Reptilex. So for Lord Grasp and Terror, yes, it makes sense. These two, Vipor and Reptilex, extra Snake Men, are they unnecessary? Depends on who you ask and who's waiting for what figure to come out, because that's the problem. Origins has been going down since 2019, rolling into 2020. So as of right now, we're in like year 5 of Masters of the Universe Origins. Pretty much, Masters of the Universe Origins as a toy line is pretty much just as old as All Elite Wrestling. When you really break down the timelines, like, they both made their debuts in 2019, and fucking here we are now. So when it comes to the vintage Masters of the Universe toy line, with everything that started with He-Man and Skeletor, Beastman, Teela, Man-at-Arms, and fucking Evil Lyn, you know, everything going forward with the new waves, you know, was going through the vintage toy line. Now we're to the point to where we're down to like the final 7 figures that need to come out in Origins to call it a day with the vintage line, but they keep adding new figures to keep the line going, which isn't bad at all. It's actually really fucking great getting new characters like Reptilex that we didn't have before, and like soon with Mattel Creations we're gonna have Geldor and we're gonna have Demo Man. But at San Diego Comic-Con, Mattel Creations also revealed Modulok is finally coming out to Origins, and Rio Blast is finally coming out to Origins. Rio Blast was one of my favorite figures from back in the day that I never fucking had. I wanted him so bad, never got him, was super jealous of anybody I knew who had Rio Blast, including my homie Bobby from back in the day. Bobby from back in the day had fucking Rio Blast with his flip-out guns and whatnot, and he was pretty fucking dope, you know what I mean? So, Rio Blast is coming out, Modulok's coming out, so now there's like 7 figures remaining from the vintage line. So, you know, Origins has been an absolute success. Like, this Masters of the Universe reproduction revival line has not been a failure at all. If anything, it's been such a success that if you step back and look at the bigger brand picture of Masters of the Universe, you got Masterverse, you got Origins, Cartoon Collection, Turtles and Grayskull, also including the failed Netflix CG animated series that also got a toy line that's also been available in stores during this entire time. So it's like, you got the Netflix series, there's a live action movie that's in the works right now that's gonna be on Amazon, and as far as real time right now, like yesterday, they made the announcement of they found their live action Teela, and they revealed her name and And just like the Snake Lair, the fucking Masters of the Universe fan base is up in arms and complaining because God forbid that's not who they would cast as Teela. So Masters of the Universe is getting a movie. They found their Teela. Apparently they did find their He-Man, and they don't fucking like him either. But I'm looking forward to the movie. I just hope they do it right this time. And at the same time, I don't know how the hell I want them to do a Masters of the Universe movie, because on one hand, I want it to be taken seriously, because there's been like fan-made movies that have been fucking amazing, short films that I've seen on YouTube that got taken down, that went back up to get taken down again, and you know, I want it to be done right. I want it to be done accurately, but I don't want it to be too accurate to where it's too easy to criticize and compare, you know what I mean? And like, some people will like look at their favorite things get turned into movies. Like for example, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Lord of the Rings, but I know Lord of the Rings fans could watch the Lord of the Rings movies, fall in love with it, but at the same time bring up a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? And even with other films like the Hobbit films and whatnot, people will nitpick, and same thing with like Star Wars and shit. So I don't want it to be something that people are constantly dissecting what could have been done better, you know, if it's too serious. But I also want them to be able to have fun with it. And I will say that after watching the Barbie movie this year, I really wouldn't mind a Masters of the Universe movie if it was produced and shot like they did Barbie. Like, Barbie was fucking great because it was dumb funny when you're watching Margot Robbie in Barbie Land, you know what I mean, with all the plastic background sets and the dream houses, and like Ken gets injured, and the next thing you know, you got the Barbie fucking ambulance that like folds out and shit into like the doctor's office, and it's like, this is so fucking stupid, but I'm like smiling right now, just enjoying this. You know what I mean? Or the best part, it's like, oh, this is Midge. This is Barbie's pregnant friend, but, oh, let's pan the camera. We can't show the fat one. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, man. So I really wouldn't mind if they did, like, Masters of the Universe in the style of Barbie. Now, but it's weird, though, because in my head, like, I'm looking at the way they did Barbie with, like, the ensemble cast, and you know what I mean? Like, seeing John Cena as a fucking mermaid and shit. And then when you step back and you look at it, it's like, holy shit, you got like the fucking guy that played the Super Skrull, he was back there as a Ken and shit, and you got fucking Scott Pilgrim was there, so yeah, you know, they can have so much fucking fun with Masters of the Universe, you know, and I'm like thinking in my head, and you know, let me know in the comments below, but I think as far as the voice goes, I think Will Arnett would play a great Skeletor. Outside the box, something different. I could totally see, like, Will Arnett as Keldor. But once Keldor becomes Skeletor, Will Arnett could have fun with it doing a Skeletor voice. Because he'd have his normal Will Arnett Keldor voice, and then transformation Skeletor voice. But let me know what you think in the comments below. But yeah, there's a Masters of the Universe movie on deck. Got Reptilex, got more Snake Men pre-ordered that are going to come out soon. Failed Snake Lair, going back to the drawing board. Hopefully Mattel comes back with something that resembles what we voted for, makes people happy, because at the end of the day, you want the crowdfund to be successful. And that's the biggest thing. I think they got a little greedy with the design of the Snake Lair playset, because so many crowdfunds have failed, and even on the Hasbro end, with like Marvel Legends crowdfunds and shit that I've heard about that failed miserably. Like, I've seen Mattel have failed crowdfunds, and I got to participate in successful crowdfunds. I'd like to see this next one be successful, but I don't want Mattel to think everybody's made of money. So every time they do a crowdfund, they can expect us to participate and afford a $500 jump off. But I'm Ian versus Daddybones. Thank you guys very much for watching my show, and gals. If you want bonus content, subscribe to me right here on my Facebook for $2 a month. You get all the bonus content going forward. If you go to Patreon and throw me $3 a month, you get all the bonus content going back to the very first episode of the show. There's over 100 bonus videos available on the Patreon for subscribers. But until next time, cheers, Pete!
Fuck Ian Daddybones. Fuck Twin Widow, whatever the hell it is. No one gives a shit about you, Ian. Everyone hates you. Fuck off.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a banger and you're all invited. Share with friends and I'll see you later. Bring everyone, invite my haters. Throw your hands in the fucking air. Let's push a cripple down a flight of stairs. Got new shit right for your ears. My Hadouken is downright fierce. Rock out with my cock out. Jump around, I got your shout outs. I'm Daddybones, no need to panic. Talking riddles like a schizophrenic. 24/7, I got the party. Roofie roos and whoop-de-doos. Retarded fools with attitudes, bro. Everything's mixed with Bacardi. Glow stick black like tons of bubbles. Titties on bitches, nothing but trouble. Got my pills, ain't no quitter. Pop that shit, here comes my glitter. Not a dancer, I got no skills. Bobbing my head and standing still. Tons of bitches, ravers, goths. Down to fuck and get your salad tossed. It's the greatest thing that you ever saw. Put your hands in the air for a party. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a banger and you're all invited. Get kids posing, muscles flexing, trains dressed like your favorite X-Men. If there's one thing that drives me crazy, you give high fives but you fucking hate me. Might have rabies, might have herpes. Breastfeed me and you'll have to burp me. I'll be up on stage, throwing out beads, grabbing my dick and spraying my seed all over your face. That's fucking rude. Raise it up and show your boobs. Dance around and go friggin' nuts. Just b-boy stance and light your blunts. Don't be a cunt. Tuck your chain, don't start no shit. Use your brain, it's all a game. Let's play some Yahtzee, eat Tide Pods and punch a Nazi. Not a dancer, I got no skills. Bobbing my head and standing still. Tons of bitches, ravers, goths. Down to fuck and get your salad tossed. It's the greatest thing that you ever saw. Put your hands in the air for a party. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a banger and you're all invited.